Hello and welcome to our Kingdom Devotion. Today I'm going to read from one of our passages, Psalm 16. And here David says in verse 1, "Preserve me, O God, for in you I take refuge." Now this is the reason why David is writing this psalm, is right here. He's saying, God, preserve me, save me, help me. Preserve me from what? What is it that David needs preservation from? We don't know. Is it a time of war? Is it some trouble he's experiencing? But whatever it is, he is saying to God, God, I know you will preserve me because I am taking refuge in you. I'm choosing to put my trust in you. I am running to you in this season. And why don't we put ourselves in David's shoes and to what is it that we need preservation from in this season? So we might be experiencing trouble at work, at home. There might be something we're going through. God, preserve me. We put our refuge. We take refuge in you today. So in verse 2, David goes on to say, I say to the Lord, you are my Lord. He's saying that God, you are sovereign, you are Lord over this time, and I trust you. And he says, I have no good apart from you. That means that there's nothing else that is good besides you. If I see anything else that is good, it's only because, God, you are good. And I think that God, in this season and just through our lives, God has a way of stripping us of everything that we put our comfort in and our hope in, our trust in beyond God. He has a way of stripping us from those things so that we start to only put our trust in the Lord alone. And I want to skip on to verse 6 where it writes, the lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Indeed, I have a beautiful inheritance. David's saying that I trust you, God, for good things to happen. Now we must understand, David's not in a time of comfort. David's writing this from a time of great discomfort. He said, preserve me, I'm in trouble. And yet, at the same time, in that discomfort, he says, God, I know that it's going to be good, that the lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. I can expect your goodness in my life. We go on down to verse 11. You make known to me the path of life. In your presence there is fullness of joy, and at your right hand are pleasures forevermore. Now this is such a great promise, and this is what we know, that when we run to God's presence, when we are encountering God, we know that we're going to experience victorious joy in our lives, that when we run into His presence, that we can experience the pleasure that comes from being with Him. And so I pray that would be our reality, that when we're in trouble and we run into His presence, we're going to experience fullness of joy and pleasures in Him. Amen.